the feeling of fulfillment. So I'm not sure whether in what status that your minds are to educate you, so-called. Rather, I would use this opportunity to put some thoughts across, and maybe we can discuss also if you have some good thoughts, some sharing basically. Today I will be talking to you specifically on the delegation, which otherwise I would also want to define that as a building confidence. When you see the dictionary related definition there, but I would always want to associate delegation with a building confidence. Imagine this scenario. This is all real life scenarios. This is what I have seen in my life. There are these parents, I know we call them as a helicopter parents. Why this word helicopter parents? Because they always hover on their kids. Especially they have a son. There's my friend's family and I know them quite often. I call them as a helicopter parent because whenever I have seen their family, whenever their son, they make decisions for their son, for everything. When we understand this, that it is good to do a decision for their son when they are 5 years, 6 years, maybe even 10 years, but not when the boy is a teenager, not when the boy is going for college. This boy, poor fellow, has to take permission from his parents if he has to take a bus or if he has to go with a friend. Even matters like some of the subjects that you want to go. So, some of the some timing, the friend's house that he needs to go, he has to take permissions. It's very pathetic that the boy, even after, when I talk to them and they say, what do you want to do after your graduation or what do you want to do after your PUC? The boy is clueless. He looks towards his parents. It's very, very unfortunate that empowering somebody is something I call it as delegation. Or building a confidence with somebody is called a delegation. Look at a contrary. I know a couple, very upcoming, they have a 5 years daughter. 5 years. When I travel with them, I have seen father giving money to the girl and asking her to buy a ticket. While holding the string, he is slowly delegating some of the very, very important and sundry responsibilities. Like he is there next to her and just giving her money to ask her to buy the ticket. One example. Some such small initiatives. See, while we also seen the other side of it, well, the kids will steal money, go to the shop and buy. Now, that's a different example altogether. But a very simple and small activities like this would empower. It's something called, in this definition, I would like to highlight on two things here: responsibility and empowering. These are the two very important learnings that I would request you to take back when you talk about delegation. It's actually transferring a responsibility for a specific task to another member, and it's just not transferring, it's also empowering the person to take that responsibility, that accountability on him for any task that is defined. Can we have the next slide, please? Well, when we talk about barriers of delegation, why this is not possible? Why this building confidence? Why this delegation not possible? A few barriers have been discussed here. See, for example, the first and foremost is the lack of confidence. I don't trust you. I don't believe you. I'm not sure whether you can do this. I'm not sure whether my son can decide for him which transport he would want to take today. It's like a catch-22 situation. Very recently, I was in a flight and it was really, when it was touching down, it was very, very harsh. Immediately, before while I was taxiing, we hear the captain saying, that was my first officer who is under training. First he apologized and said, sorry for the rough landing, but it was my first officer who is under training, so kindly pardon us for this. Well, as soon as we landed, when I experienced the harsh touchdown, the first thing came to my mind is, I am going to write to the CEO. What nonsense is this? They are putting everybody's life into risk. While that is true, immediately we hear this and I say, okay, maybe, happens. But to what extent they can take? I'm sure there is a pilot who is in control and there is a person who is being trained. So I'm sure it is like giving an authority, a responsibility while holding the strings. So that's something which I call as building confidence. So that lack of confidence is the prime reason that delegation does not work. Or delegation is actually that is considered as a barrier. Well, let's move on with fear, insecurity and self-importance. I put them into the same category. I'm not sure whether the person can deliver. I'm not sure whether he'll be able to generate the dollars that I wanted. Because I am responsible elsewhere. I am responsible for a quarter, $1 million business. But I'm not sure if I delegate, if the person will be able to give me that much of number. Because I am responsible to my CEO. That fear will hold somebody to give the delegation. But tell me, the supreme power lies with the President of India, for example. When one person, how can he manage the entire country? Hence, he has delegated that to the Prime Minister. And again, one person has delegated his cabinet of ministers, and the ministers, have the state ministers. So again, a delegation. So, in the administration, delegation works effectively. In army, there is a supreme commander. And he in turn would have army, navy and air force. So you can see, but the person who really goes to the battlefront and battles is a soldier. So from a soldier to the supreme commander, the structure that works, again, has to be devoid of the fear. While we hold the strings of whatever needs to be taken at the right time, but we need to go away from these insecurities, the fears, and giving self-importance that I am important. Which is again, which I say, very, very similar to vanity. Say for example, in an ego. Why would I delegate? Maybe a very, very simple example within your project managers. Vanity. People cannot go beyond their egos and say, how can I let go of this important task? It is something which I need to do, and I need to project myself to the management that I am the person who is doing this, and I am the person who is responsible for it. So these are some of the barriers which I thought are very, very important, which are holding you back from delegating certain things. Can we go to the next slide? So some tools maybe I would just want to discuss, which would help us for an effective delegation. Well, those tools are enlisted there, but I would like to talk to you on some specific examples. There is a very specific, relegation is a very, very important management skill. All of us know. See, this is happening in our personal life, the example which I just explained, and happening across administration, it's happening in everybody's professional life. First, when we delegate, we just shift the responsibility to someone else. Someone else does all the groundwork and he comes back to us to take a decision. So do you believe it's a delegation? Decision maker is you, while finding the information, doing all the so-called the basic job, the job which you do not want to do, is done by someone else. That's the worst form of delegation. Only responsibility but no authority. Coming to the next part, a person does everything, he brings everything to the point where you just have to, he cannot decide, or he is not given authority to decide, yes or no. Just one decision, yes or no. He comes to you to make that decision. Even that is definitely not a right form of delegation. In another form, the third delegation, you give the person the authority, the resources and the timelines required to do that specific task. That person thinks and delivers the right things to you. He says, it's like, give the person only the outcome. Give him the authority, rather the single word is delegate him, and expect an outcome from him. So you set up an outcome, that's where the delegation is effective. Maybe some tools are like, what you want to delegate. To discuss very, very clearly what is that you want to delegate, and very clearly who will does, the resources, the personnel. Again, assign the responsibility, state the task, grant the authority. This is a very, very important step. If you do not do this, I don't think your delegation would be effective. Establish accountability. In delegation, accountability and responsibility are two key words. Understand the difference. While the person who is delegated is accountable, while you are responsible. So, these two words are, generally used intermixed. But kindly understand this. The person is accountable, the delegated person is accountable, but you still are responsible for that outcome task because you are responsible somewhere else. So, establish the accountability is a key activity that one should do while delegating the responsibility to someone else. Responsibility and accountability. So, you need to really see which works which way. Well, we do not delegate things if we do not have a confidence in them. We do not delegate things if you don't think that the person is motivated enough to do it. In today, what we witnessed is the shift of the office bearership to another set of people. So, if we do not know, if we do not have a confidence that they don't have a knowledge, they are not motivated enough, or they are not able, then that shift or the delegation or the transfer of responsibility would not happen. So, this is a very, very critical activity that we should consider a person who is motivated enough to take the responsibility. It is just like dumping something on him, whether he will accept it or it is not something that I consider, then that delegation is a failure, or it is bound to fail for a period of time. Next slide, please. Toastmaster is all about communication. Why do we say communication is a very, very critical part? In every management skills, again, communication is a very, very important task. Even in delegation, if the communication is not proper, the anticipated results, what is the outcome of one specific activity, or what is the task that we agree between us, if that communication is not clear, delegation is bound to fail. Hence, communication is very, very important while you delegate. You specifically set up some expectations. Again, communicate. You cannot expect something without a communication. Whether a mail or one-to-one or whichever form of communication you would like to have, there has to be very clear anticipated results. That has to be communicated with the person who is delegating and the person who is getting it delegated. Again, agree on standards and timetables, the timelines. If the person needs any special coaching, special training, because not everybody will come with all sorts of skills, so then there is a need to identify the training requirements. The person would want to have many resources. So we need, while delegating, it's just not giving him some job. It's also important that we empower the person with the resources that is required. It could be manpower is required, there could be timelines that are required, there could be money requirement. There are a lot of such resources that needs to be identified and delivered. Well, the timetable is also an important, very important step. Specify the authority. This is exactly the field where the ego clashes will start between your project manager, between the team members. If you do not specify the authority where you need to stop, that's when you feel that there could be interferences between the egos, and the entire activity will fail. Entire activity of delegation, because in all our work, we work on delegated model only. across corporations, because business units are responsible, to the CFO. CFO is responsible to the chief executing officer. So he has delegated the entire activity of bringing value to the world plus make money, because make money is again an anticipated result from the from CEO. He has in turn delegated to each one of us these responsibilities: bring the value to whatever we are doing, make money. So that way, specifying authority is a very, very critical and important requirement when we are communicating for delegation. I think with this, again, I would like to reiterate that delegation again is a very critical skill, a management skill that each one of us in our personal life, in our professional life should follow. We are following in many senses, but one has to do it with an awareness that what are the tools that are needs to be done for an effective delegation. Delegation is, as I said, it's just not giving a responsibility. It is giving a responsibility with an authority. So with this, I would like to hand over back to Sharat.